Hello, you're very welcome to this channel. My name's Anand and I'm an emotional wellness coach and I support those who are weighed down with inner struggles. And today is the second part of a series of videos that I'm talking about the common pain points that I come across with those that I support. And today's pain point or inner struggle is more around relating with others. So last week I talked about when you turn against yourself, which you can check out. There's a link there above. And today I'm going to talk about relating with others, and the particular pain point is when you find yourself editing or losing yourself to keep the connection at all costs. And I'm not just talking maybe about personal or romantic relationships. I'm talking about all types of relationships, how you relate with others. And because these kind of issues, when you edit yourself, will go across all aspects of your life, from your family to your partner or your loved one to your friends, and in the workplace. And in some relationships you have, it may not be so pronounced. So I would say, when considering do you have this pain point, look at where it plays out in your life. So what does it look like? And what can you do about it? So how it looks like when you edit yourself at all costs to keep a connection. You might be afraid to say no. So in actual fact, your response to many things might be, I need to do this thing at all costs, not to upset the other. It might come across as you'll go along with someone on a continuous basis. You don't talk about how you feel or what you want. And then someday you explode in a cloud of resentment, where you might go to the other, well, I'm always doing this, I'm always doing that, and they're like, whoa, where's this come from? Or you might find yourself in a situation where you sabotage that relationship or that connection. And one part of you is like, why am I sabotaging this thing? It's very good for me. But this other part of you that is maybe afraid, or like you're very invested in that person or that workplace, you might find yourself sabotaging it, which sounds counterintuitive, but it's a lot more common than you think. Or you might find that all your relationships are fake. They lack authenticity. And that goes back to when I was talking last week about when you turn against yourself. This editing of yourself is almost another form of you turning against yourself. I talked last week about how they're interrelated. It's also very tiring. It's exhausting editing yourself. It's exhausting weighing up everything that you say, carefully considered and curated with the other, and you're empty and tired, and then you wonder why you need to throw yourself into just anything passive that isn't really good for you, but it feels good in the moment, and it's completely understandable. So, and even if we think about this editing ourselves, okay, there are things, there's nothing wrong with being considerate and careful in your communication in terms of being cognizant of the other and thinking about the other. But when you are all the time editing what you say and how you are with a person, or how you are in your workplace, or how you are with your friends or your family, know that there's a price to pay for it in terms of your energy, inner exhaustion, disconnection, and potentially you turning against yourself. And the other thing is the other person never gets to know the real you. That's probably the biggest price that you may pay if you're constantly editing to avoid losing connection. Because you have to be able to test how you relate to another. You have to see, are they as much wanting to be with you as well? And to trust that you and yourself are enough. But that's not always easy when you're really weighed down with these fears and this desire to please, and you know that you have probably spent most of your lifetime watching everything that you say and do to make sure to please the other, almost like molding yourself into what you think they want you to be. So what can you do about it? Well, I think a first good step is to acknowledge that this is a pain point you struggle with. Notice how you talk to other people, or what is the price for this careful editing of yourself. How does it impact you on your energy levels, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually? Look at what your energy levels are when you're very carefully watching what you say and do to keep the other. Does the other know you? Do you believe that the other person really knows the real you? And what's holding you back from revealing who you really are? I'm not talking about when you first meet a new person or a stranger. That takes a little careful building. I'm talking about people that you meet regularly. And also there's a sort of a fine balance, particularly say in the workplace, where you want to be valued and seen, but you don't need to spill everything out to everyone in the workplace either. It's about keeping that boundary. But using the workplace as an example, are you seen? Are you heard? Are you so careful with your colleagues that you get bypassed for a lot of things, whether it's projects, promotion, opportunities? Are you so careful in where you are in your lane, in your box, that you don't grow? So these are all things to think about. Is it worth the price when you edit yourself at all costs? So one is to acknowledge, yes, I have this difficulty. I have this inner struggle. I edit myself, or I say things to keep the other, and it has an impact on me because of A, B, C, or D. So that's the first step. And in actual fact, the good news is that's 50% of the dealing with this. And then how to really notice it. So you might acknowledge it mentally. But the really way to move through this is to really feel it in your body. So when you start to edit yourself, start to notice all the sensations in your body. And notice what's going on. And if you can try and find that little quiet voice will really give you guidance. This is where I work with my clients to help find that inner quiet voice that goes, this feels off. And I recognize that different people process information in different ways. So you may be auditory. I'm also very auditory. So for me, when I observe that I'm really editing myself and it's not good for me, because I do this as well, I kind of look within and I feel what I call notes in my body. It's like something goes off. I like to use the image of an orchestra, and for me it's almost like a loud drum beat, or the sound of a violin going off, or something like that, like this or clash of cymbals is another one of mine. That's when I know, something's gone off here. You might be visual. So if you're visual, visualize where you're seeing this discrepancy between your truth and this carefully edited thing that you're saying to the other to keep them. Or you may be body kinesic, so you may feel it in your body. What's the sensation? So these are all ways for you to start to see where you edit yourself. And when you see it, make a note of it. And then to consider, what will you do differently? What would you like to really say? And maybe test it in a way that feels safe for you. Do this incrementally. One step may be saying something to an acquaintance. No, actually, I don't want to do that. Or, if someone's pushing hard on a sale, say, in a sales product, let's say you showed interest and you're actually not interested. You say, yeah, actually, no, I don't want that. Or I don't want to pay for that. Or I don't want to do that thing. And build it up little by little to find what your yes and your no feels like in your body when somebody asks something. And instead of just going, absolutely, I'll do that, just pausing and taking a moment of saying, do I want to? And your body might say, no. And you go, no, I don't have that bandwidth, or no, that's not for me, or thank you, no thank you. All of those. So playing around with this. Now, it's a big topic. There's a lot in this. So you could start with this, see how you go. If you want more support, there's more details of how you can connect with me below. And just see where you go. Just first step, acknowledging, yes, I edit myself. I do everything to avoid losing a connection. Feeling into your body. How does it feel like? What does your yes feel like? What does your no feel like? Playing around with those. Seeing where you go with those. And that may be just enough for you. And knowing, going slowly. This is probably a long ingrained habit, so it might take you some time, and that's okay. Give yourself the permission to go at this slowly, starting with a stranger or an acquaintance or in the workplace, whichever feels easiest and safest to get started, and then start to build it up. And another really helpful thing is notice when you actually are true to yourself, when you start being more authentic. Really make a note of that, because the part of our mind that almost wants to undermine us and put us down will just bypass that so quickly. So write it down, make a note, put a voice note, whatever works for you, make a note of it and keep a record of it so you can start to see your wins. That's the really critical bit. You need to see your wins. You need to say, I'm being authentic and actually this feels good in my body. Oh, the other person's responding differently to me. I'm getting a different outcome. These are all your wins. You know you're on the right track when that starts happening. So thank you very much. And I'll see you next week to talk about the third inner struggle that I come across. Bye-bye.